Had to whip out the fez. I see how it is.
But fezzes are cool. Of course I'm going to have
That
to wear.
doctor's that's not the doctor anymore.
Shush, he's my doctor.
No, 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 no,
Fine.
no.
Would you prefer me to wear the TARDIS?
Sure, why not? That would mean your head. That would mean your head would be vacuous hole in time and space.
Could be fun.
It'd be dimensional.
Yes, yes. Everybody, and welcome to From My Mother's Basement, the show that celebrates being a geek. I'm Jason.
And I am Michael.
And, yeah, so the lots has happened over the past few days in the geek world.
Last week. By the way, last week's show didn't happen because Jason's mom got married. So
Yes.
So Jason is now legit. No, I'm kidding.
Good night, everybody.
Sorry.
It's all good. I wanted to ask Michael what he's been up to, but I know that we went to the exact same thing just, what 12
Last
hours
night.
ago? Yes.
Yes. Well, that's the big thing that happened of lately. Which was, well, what are we talking about, Jason? We are talking about the Miku Expo. That is my shot from outside waiting to get in. That was the Miku Expo concert for Los Angeles. There was another one in New York, or that's coming up in New York, rather. That took place last night, and then the second show was today at 12:30. It was sold out. That place was packed. And do you have the shot of all the glow sticks going?
Yes.
That was awesome.
It was so nice.
Now, the fact that everybody had glow sticks, a lot of people, including Jason, who was just getting into it, a lot of people brought their own, but they gave us these goodie bags that had a glow stick in them.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not pop mine. I deliberately did not pop mine because A, there were enough of them around me. B, I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be that over 40-something gray hair with the otaku dude, like the one that was 3 rows in front of us.
And you had sitting next to you a 30-something overweight guy going,
smartass. Hey, I was rocking out, though. I was totally rocking out.
For the entire hour-and-a-half concert, which I have to say was short. I wanted a longer concert.
I was actually kind of hoping they push it longer, too. I don't know if they've got it in their head that Americans won't sit through a more than 90-minute concert or what because of what happened with the Expo show. But
right.
It was a great show. I mean,
it was.
Their tech was spectacular, and they got their money's worth out of them lasers, let me tell you.
Oh, yes. Yeah, lasers all over the place, lasers going back onto the stage. It was...
Oh, man. They had a laser. This is so weird. That's true, because they had the lasers out coming out at us, and if you look in the lower left corner there was a laser projector back at the booth, and those they're projecting onto their targets were the trusses. The truss sticks, which I thought was really interesting, and it was just a fantastic show all around. There's only one disappointing part. Kaito sounded like mush.
Yes, I think the main problem with that being that
I think it's a limitation of the voice pack.
Well, that one, but also they chose a song that goes beyond his normal voice range, and that's like a whole thing too in itself, which is the we're going to take what this program or this vocal pack was designed to do and then change that and go beyond that, and then that becomes popular.
We're going to push it beyond its limits, yeah.
And I'm like, that makes no sense, I guess.
But on the whole, it was a fantastic show.
It was.
There were some surprises in there. I mean, the fact that they had Kaito, the fact that they had Meiko in there.
That wasn't too much of a surprise for me for the sole fact that all the recent concerts going on in Japan, they include them. But I kind of wish we were more like the Japan concerts where their concerts are like 2.5 to 3 hours long.
Yeah. Although it was hard enough standing for 90 minutes straight, but
yeah.
But there was one of the surprises aside from just the level of tech was phenomenal. I mean, they even brought in liquid nitrogen for one song.
Come on, that was cool.
It was a cool effect, but I'm like going, okay, they really got their money's worth out of the lasers. Not so sure about that nitrogen,
but the fact that they used the English voice banks for several songs was actually...
And that's the part that I was really getting me. It's like when they came out, and they of course did the song that they did on Letterman, which I'm going to echo a lot of the comments I've seen. The song they chose to have her perform on Letterman show is not the song they should have done.
Yeah.
I mean, there was another song that Miku did in English. I don't even know the name of it, unfortunately, but I want to go. I want to get a set list so I can go find it because it was a great song.
It was a great song with like a bit of dubstep mixed into
well,
it.
Yeah, it had a dubstep vibe to it, and the one of the most effective uses of the lasers was that song.
Yes,
because it was because the song was she was talking about how she wanted to get out of the computer just for one day, and that in and of itself was like an emotional hook into the song. And the way they had the lasers bouncing, it looked like it was a rotating cage. I mean, it was the symbology in that song. That's the song they should have done on Letterman because it was in her range, understandable.
Yeah, that's the big key right there. Many people who watched the Letterman performance didn't even know that was actually in English.
Yeah, it was a horrible choice to put. Then the other one that was a big surprise was when Luca did one of Luca's songs that did Just Be Friends in English.
I actually liked it. Which
has mixed reviews. I liked it too. But other people who were there specifically to hear that song and a couple others were like, they fucked with my song. Why is it in English?
Damn you.
But it was really well done. They also jacked the res of the models.
Yeah.
The quality of the models compared to what were at the Expo show a couple of years ago.
Crisper,
brighter.
The
dialect board was a lot cleaner.
Yeah, they did a 3 projector setup as far as I could see. It was the center at the bottom, and then the 2 in the corners on the top.
Sega fan, you're smoking crack. Sorry.
That's funny.
But were you there, Sega fan, at the concert? Talking to the chat room. It was a phenomenal show. I am really glad we went.
Oh, yeah.
I am so glad we went, and I got to see Ito-san briefly. So
yeah, that was nice.
Which was really nice to see him again. I got to drop him an email, but I knew he'd be here. I mean, come on, it's his baby. Miku's he's Miku's godfather. He's basically Miku's dad.
Pretty much.
Him and Kay are her parents, effectively. So it was really good to see him again. It was overall just wow. I was very impressed with the show. The merch
not so
was
much.
A bit of a letdown.
Yeah. It was very slim pickings as compared to previous concerts. My guess was the fact they wanted to keep things small based on touring around. Then again, it could also be the fact that certain venues require a cut of those. So
the 10% cut that Nokia demands. Yeah, that's probably part of it. Oh wow, it was just. I hope they do another one because.
And that's what I want to know is that they started with Indonesia, then they did L.A. Now they're going to New York. I think there's a couple more places on this tour eventually.
I think there's one in Paris and one in London.
What's stopping them from doing these like every other year or every year? I mean,
why not? Because I would totally go for it.
They do several a year in Japan alone. Now, granted, birthplace, and that's where they're all.
Well, I say birthplace, and it's all Japan. Let's be honest, Japan's only slightly bigger than California.
Yeah, this is true.
I mean, it's a small country, but no, I would love to see them come back and do another one, and I think it would be fantastic. And hopefully, the fact that this one that both shows sold out, both last night's and the one for today, completely sold out, including the VIP. The VIP tickets sold out too,
which was just essentially the pit.
$100. Well, yeah. It was the pit, and there was a small back room party thing in the VIP lounge that the Nokia Theater has. But all of that sold out, and the crowd was totally into it.
It was so much fun.
It was a fantastic show, and the musicians.
Oh yeah,
that bass player was the shit. I was hella impressed with that bass player. The boy knew his instrument.
Yeah. See, there are certain aspects to some players out there where you'll get excited and go, wow, that guy's really good. I hope to be as good as that guy, if not better, one day. And then there are people like that who goes, And I'm done. I can't take
Yeah,
it.
that's like saying, okay, you're the bass guitars with Neil Peart as the drums. Okay, I'm back. I'm not going there. I mean, seriously, the guy was that
He
damn good.
was that
He
good,
was
yeah.
getting sounds out of that bass that I've never heard people. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm sure Les Claypool could do it. Somebody like Les Claypool.
Probably.
But wow, he was good.
I do have to say though, there was something that kind of miffed me a bit. And it's typical when Japanese sound guys come over and do concerts
Oh,
over here.
I know where you're going with
Is
this one
that
because we both had that
there's
gripe.
a certain decibel range that usually has a limit for a venue, or just even to sound good in a venue. Japanese sound techs, on average, like to hit that and then bump it up another 10%.
Yeah, yeah. The typical Japanese concert, they will try and push it to at least 120 dB at the board. When the California U.S. limit legally, if I remember correctly, is no higher than 105 or 110, one of those two at the board,
Yeah.
and that's your absolute highest. They like to push beyond it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, how are your ears today, Jason?
They were ringing this morning pretty good.
I bypassed it. I was smart.
Yeah, you were smart. You brought yours.
I brought my good earplugs.
Yeah. I mean, let's put it this way: to give you an idea, if you wanted to do listen to a jet take off at about 300 meters away, that's about 100 dB, 100 decibels. If you were about half that distance, it's about 150 decibels. We were within that range in terms of sound for about an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah. No, it started, and as through the first song, it was at the limit. It was at what I would call probably about the 100, 105 range.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like halfway through the first song, started inching it up, inching it up, inching it up, inching it up. And then the second song, I'm seriously, I'm guessing it was about 120 at the board.
I would not be surprised.
We weren't that far behind the board.
This is true. There was something that happened in pre-show that you pointed out to me.
Yes, I even tried to capture crappy video of it. Apparently, Square Enix and Krypton have teamed up, and they're having their Tetsuya Nomura, who is known for doing character designs for the most recent Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts games, did his interpretation of Miku.
Yep.
And they made an animation of it.
Full CG.
Full CG. The animation, when it first came up, when they first showed that on screen and it was moving, I honestly thought it was a cosplayer at first. And you know me, Jason. I'm hardcore into CG. It's really hard to fool me.
Yes, this is very true.
They almost did. Until they got a really good shot of her face. And I'm like, why does Miku look like she was designed by Square Enix? Because I didn't see the logo at first. I'm like, why does it look like Square took on Miku? And then sure enough, Tetsuya Nomura x Miku Hatsune, or Hatsune Miku. And I'm like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful piece of work.
It really is. Now, unfortunately, Michael and I scoured the internet, and we can't find this video anywhere. I'm sure
it will float eventually.
Yeah, they'll officially release it, or someone will leak it. But it's just one of those that you watch it and go, wait, that really actually happened?
Yeah, no, the video, the video is phenomenal. No, we're not taped. We are live right now for those who are in the chat room. For those of you watching on YouTube, we're not. Sorry. But the quality of that CG was just, oh my god. I can't wait for them to release it because I want to get it at 1080 and there are several shots that I want to turn into desktops.
Yeah, that would be very nice, actually.
I mean, Square Enix has always had high quality animation. I mean, come on, we were talking about Final Fantasy 15 or 13X versus 2 or whatever the hell it is that new ones is coming out. Final Fantasy 15, the boy band. I mean, but the quality of that animation, and that's all Nomura's work. So, wow. Eventually, they're going to release that video, and when they do, we will show it. Because it's totally worth it.
Oh, yes. Shall we move on to what happened on the East Coast this weekend?
Oh, let's talk about the East Coast this weekend. Let's do that.
New York Comic Con. They had a number of announcements over the past weekend. A
Mm-hmm.
number of cool panels that, after reading the overview, I kind of wish I was there, but no.
Yeah, there was some really cool stuff that went down.
A couple of videos that showed up during Comic Con that we're going to go and share with you. First up is actually from Sony. They, for a while, were working on a adaptation of a comic book called Powers, and essentially this series, it's been done multiple times before. You have non-superpowered cops um, working on working trying to keep in or fight against superpowered villains. Now, their only twist with this comic was that the main character was actually formerly imbibed with powers, and he had those powers taken away from him. And so they decided to give him a badge because he has insight to how these people think. I've only read a few issues of the comic itself, and I was actually excited to hear a while back that the station FX actually picked up the TV series. Well, it looks like Sony turned around and said, you know what, we're actually gonna go ahead and pick that up. So, and we're gonna stream it exclusively on the PlayStation Network. So it will be free to be viewed by
By,
PlayStation
by,
Plus members.
Oh, okay. So they are going to do it free to view.
Yes. So if
I am
you
a PlayStation Plus manager,
then you'll get it.
member.
Now,
So,
granted, I mean, it's not really technically free. You are paying on average $50 a year for it, but that's the same for any online service right now. So,
yeah, exactly.
or at least console. And they have a trailer for it. It's a bit on the language side, but you know what? Screw it. There's no broadcast rules anymore, so they can do what they want.
Well, especially because they're a private network.
Exactly. So check out this trailer for Powers. So you get a little rough around the edges. You get some comedy built into there as well.
That's actually looking pretty damn cool.
Currently, it's slated to be a 10-episode series.
How did he lose his powers? Did they Is it because I'm seeing that big scar on the back of his neck? Is it a pituitary thing or what? Oh, the pituitary.
That scar has to do with how he lost his powers, which they explain in the comics, and most likely they'll talk about in the series. I can't remember
Translation
the TV series.
Spoilers. Gotcha.
Yeah, pretty much. Can I just say that from now on? So
only if you can sound like River Song when you do it.
I don't know if I can.
Don't do it.
I don't think I can pull that
Don't
off.
try it.
Fine, I won't.
But they also did some other stuff at NYCC this week, whatever time, show, con, whatever. That was really cool, including but not limited to the release of the new Tomorrowland trailer.
Yes, the first actual look at what the hell Tomorrowland is.
It's still a teaser.
It is still a teaser, but you remember last year at D23, they just had a picture of an old box marked, 1964 or something? Or,
yeah.
And it was just, you can infer almost an infinite amount of possibilities out of this one picture. And most likely we're all wrong.
Yeah, quite probably.
Shall I jump on the trailer right now?
By all means.
All right.
Well, at least you didn't hear that. I kept expecting to hear a. You know? It looks really cool, but I just had this watching this because it's like the third time I've seen this video.
Mm-hmm.
That's really kind of scary thought. So I'm guessing that this is going to be a parallel universe thing, which is I'm cool with.
Right.
She touches the pin. She's instantly transported to the world. She can move pretty much anywhere she wants, kind of like a jumper, if you will.
Right.
And then wherever she moves to in that world, she moves to the equivalent place in our world. And if she lets go of the pin, she comes back to our world. This is all hypothetical, me just thinking out of my off the top of my head. What if she drops the pin and she's in the middle of a wall?
We're going to have a very short movie at that point.
Just saying.
Yeah, well, you know.
But no, it looks really cool. I want to see more of it. And I think the first part of what Clooney says, I think that the first part, I may be wrong, but I think that's an actual Disney quote.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I look at it that one scene you saw of George Clooney in there, and
Hmm.
apparently at the panel they actually showcased an external or additional scene from there,
Hmm.
um, between the two characters.
Is this the same panel he apologized for Batman at?
Yes.
Don't blame me, blame Schumacher.
To which, like, a day later, Val Kilmer went on Twitter and said, "I'm not sorry for my Batman."
I
He
actually kind
loves
of
his
liked
Batman.
Kilmer's
I
Batman.
liked Kilmer's Batman. It was good.
Not as good as uh, the original, but
Mm.
hey, whatever.
I mean, you can't infer too much from this. I mean, yes, there's already people who have gone through every single frame of this and try to infer as much as possible. Yes, in the scene with Clooney, all the images in the background are showcasing some horrible things that have happened in humanity. Drought, fires, war, hunger. I mean, it's all in the background. So it's almost like some people are inferring that this world's gone to pot. We've heard that from Interstellar. And that George Clooney's character has the way to go to a world where everything is perfect and you can create change and whatnot.
Well, yeah, there's that possibility of it, I suppose. But also part of it kind of reminds me of is it. Did you ever watch Fringe?
Yes,
The parallel universe series there too.
true.
I mean, some of that there it has a little bit of that feel to it.
It kind
Minus
of,
J.J. Abrams, but
and I do have to say though, the some of the images that have been released online regarding Tomorrowland,
hmm
like this bit of concept art
from what I
here,
heard, it was dark.
you have this like odd, bright, shining future, which almost has like a combination of like all these farmhands in the lower third of it, and then all these giant towering spires.
And notice how they're all they've got that 1960s future chic look
Right.
going. All the nice organic curves and the swoops and the I mean, which is something that the original designs for Tomorrowland
Mm-hmm.
in the Magic Kingdom were very much like that. That's how Space Mountain got its shape. In fact, if you look dead center just to the left,
Uh huh.
that looks amazingly like the Space Mountain building.
Yeah, it does look like that. There's already been, people trying to tie this in with the Tomorrowland that Walt Disney himself wanted to envision. Apparently, a film crew already filmed or recreated scenes from the 1964 World's Fair.
Uh-huh.
They recreated like Small World and whatnot. So to me, this has a very sci-fi Wizard of Oz feel.
Yeah, yeah. I it's a teaser, so we don't know.
Exactly. We're speculating.
But it's got my appetite
True.
curious. It's piqued my curiosity. I want to see. I want to know more.
I do. Would you like to know more?
Yes, I would like to know more. Ink. Let me touch the pin.
And then you can watch Terraform Mars, which is a really bad anime.
Oh God.
I swear, Terraform Mars is literally someone smoked a lot of something in Japan and went, you know what? We want to make our own adaptation of Starship Troopers. That's pretty much what it is.
Wasn't that Move Love?
Well, no, this is worse than in terms of like the plot than that. All
Move
right.
Love felt like Starship Troopers to me.
At times it really did. Shall we talk about the other thing Disney was heavily promoting at Comic-Con?
Yeah, yeah. Oh no! I'm sorry. You're thinking number 17. I thought you were going to number 23. My apologies.
No. This is good stuff.
Yes.
Very good stuff.
Yes, this is good stuff.
Another trailer for Big Hero 6. Enjoy.
It's gonna be cute.
I swear we're not sponsored by Disney yet. But
No, we're not sponsored by Disney yet. um, I want to see it. Surprisingly, others I know don't. But I want to give it a chance. And like I said, I'm a CG horror, so
yeah, I know Disney's throwing their massive technical know-how behind this film. And since they already confirmed that Big Hero 6 is not going to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they have carte blanche to just go freaking nuts.
Well, what they did to San Francisco, it can't be part of cinematic universe.
San Francisco. Make it happen, Disney. You have the
Yeah,
money. Pull the two
exactly.
countries together.
Indeed.
Although I do have to say, there's one aspect of all these trailers and whatnot that I keep on enjoying and watching over and over again that I was not expecting.
Is it Tinkerbell going over the castle?
No, it's
Because it's in every one of them. Sorry.
it's the surprisingly it's the music, and all the music
Yeah.
has been for the trailer music has been Fall Out Boy, and I'm like, I haven't enjoyed them since like 2005.
You're
And I
talking
look,
about Just for Big Hero 6, right?
huh?
You're talking about Just for Big Hero 6, right?
Well, all the trailer music, all the rock songs are all from
Right,
Fall
but
Out Boy.
for Big Hero 6 specifically.
No, the first couple were from their last album. The music you heard in that trailer was actually a new single that's not even out
Let
yet.
me rephrase the statement. You're talking about the music in the trailers for Big Hero 6 has been what you
Yes.
were referring to,
Yes.
correct? Not the
Yes.
music for Disney movies in general.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Sorry, man. I
I'm
just want to make sure I understood you.
yeah. But I'm kind of surprised that a movie, a band I've never cared about in like 7, 8 years, all of a sudden it's like, oh, this kind of works now.
Somebody lock. Hey, you know what? If you lock in the right traffic, right contract. That's the word I meant. Contract. I'm tired, man. I've been awake since 5 a.m. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Well, let's go through the rest of this stuff fairly quickly. It's a lot of comic announcements. Wow, comic news at a comic convention. Who knew?
There's some really cool comic stuff coming out, and then there's some really WTF comic stuff coming out.
We'll start with the secret that's not really a secret.
That's the WTF moment.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Marvel is gonna go back and
Revisit.
revisit Secret Wars. This thing, I mean, it was a big story back in the day. It tied, pretty much everything together. It was over an entire year of of comics and merchandise tie-ins. It was all over the place. But again, what was the original one? It was like what in the mid '80s?
I was gonna say it's mid '80s, and then
Yeah.
shortly after that they had Secret Invasion,
Right.
which is when everybody turned out to be Skrulls.
Right.
Or when they turned Psylocke into a Skrull, and I was like, "What the no?"
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Do they really need to revisit something as huge as this? Can't they
well,
think of something new? I mean, Hollywood. We know Hollywood's lost their damn mind for so long. Is now the comic industry starting to follow that suit?
the thing is, comic industry has done this before. DC had Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Right.
Marvel had Secret Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Then they had Secret Invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Then they had oh god, Civil War. They had
Yes.
Marvel Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
DC's had Forever Evil
Yep.
is their current one that they're working on or working through. They're almost done with it. It's not uncommon for them to revisit old stuff, especially when they reboot the universe.
True.
I mean that, and with the Marvel now, that's exactly what they did. Is they rebooted the universe. Now, hopefully, they've got better writers for this one because, yeah, they need it. Although one of the things that I think is really interesting, if you look at the Secret Wars promo trailer,
Uh-huh.
bottom right, we have the new Thor.
Lady Thor.
Upper left, we have what looks like the old Thor. What this brings to mind, because original Thor lost his arm. That Thor has both his arms. Where am I going with this?
And Mjolnir. I mean,
And Mjolnir. So, where I'm going with this is I'm wondering if it's going to be, kind of like how what DC's starting to do between Earth and Earth 2.
oh, go between the different universes.
Go between the parallel universes.
Yeah, the thing is though, isn't that scene kind of cheating?
It's
It's
yeah.
like you mentioned a moment ago. It's been played over and over and over again.
Yeah, I know. What new twist are they going to bring? Because if you also look on that, you've got what Iron Man on the left. You've got an
Mm-hmm.
Iron and a form one of the Iron Men on the right.
Yep.
You've got let me make that bigger so I can.
Is that 20XX Spider-Man on the right-hand side I see there too?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we got the 20XX Spidey. We got the black. We got Falcon as Cap America,
Yep.
and then we got real Cap America, or original Cap America on the left, with someone who looks amazingly like Bucky behind him.
This
Um,
makes me wonder
and
if
like, but if you also look, there's like one, two, three. On the left side alone, there's three different Captain America shields.
yep.
I mean, you can get all totally throat beardy about this. You could just analyze the crap out of this.
Yeah.
I just what I'm surprised I'm not seeing is Deadpool.
Yeah, that is kind of surprising. I don't know. I just look at this and I hear about they're going to revisit this and alternate
Holy crap,
universes.
that's a female Captain America.
Where?
Right. You got the main Cap on the left side with his arm pulled back.
Right.
You got his shield.
Right.
Go immediately below his shield. There's another shield. If you
Yes.
look over, that Captain America has boobs.
So we're definitely going to cross multiple
It's got to be.
universes.
Yeah, it's got to be cross universe.
All right. Well,
Still, I mean,
do we really need to do this? Because I could easily see at the end of this whole year, because this variation of Secret War is going to start in May. So from May 2015 to May 2016, they're going to probably just destroy any resemblance of a story for majority of these arcs in favor of this all-encompassing or encompassing bit. And at the end of it, we're going to be in a completely new universe. Again,
or we're gonna retcon the fuck out of it as if it never happened,
it was all
which
a
they've
dream.
also done. You know, it was all a dream in the Watcher's eye. It started with original sin, and when the Watcher was shot, they went forward and became Secret Wars. Who killed the Watcher? We don't know. Otakon, tell me. It's I just want, please get good writers on it. Don't get,
We'll see.
oh God, what's the guy who kept Zack Snyder? No.
Hmm?
Is it Zack Snyder? No.
That did what?
There's one artist, there's one writer who's notorious for ripping off stuff. I forget his name. Nick and I were talking about him the other day. There was a list of the greatest superhero rip-off comics of all time, like the top 20.
Mm-hmm.
This guy had over 12 of them,
Oh my God.
including a blatant rip-off of Captain America called Fighting American. There was the Hulk, who was named who was purple and named Smash. I mean,
Yeah.
as long as that guy's not the one writing this, there's a hope in hell it'll be good.
Okay. Well, I don't know if it was. I doubt it was Scott Snyder.
No, it's not Scott
No,
Snyder.
it's not.
Scott Snyder's actually good.
Yes, which means he has a new comic coming out.
Yes, he does.
Yes,
Actually,
and this one is called Witches. Now, here's the crazy bit about this. Issue 1 isn't. It just came out this week.
Yeah, it just came out.
It's already been optioned for a film.
Yep.
That's the crazy thing.
Well, which means that they have. I don't think they're going to option a film off of a single issue. I mean, I'm guessing that they saw this, said, "Hey, this is really cool." Contacted Snyder, said, "Where is this story going?"
Mm-hmm.
And then said, "Okay, we want to make a movie out of it."
Yeah.
We have this. I haven't read it yet. Nikki has. I'll be reading it this week, so I should be able to tell you more about it next week.
Although I do have to say, I'm reading an interview that he did with Comic Book Resources recently, and I'll just say it verbatim. One of the reasons Witches is scary to me is because the monsters are scary. The monsters are really scary the way Jock designed them. I think they look different than anything you've seen. But what's scary about it is witches traditionally are cannibalistic. They eat children. Well, in the short, they eat anybody, but children are their favorite. He wants to.
Oh God.
What the book is about is this guilt and desire you have as a parent to be the parent your child wants. You want to be this perfect parent. You want to live for them and sacrifice everything. There's an aching desire too to live for yourself and have a healthy, individuated life. And what witches do, they're the kind of gods of the self. So I don't know if he's trying to say this is going to tie into self-consciously. I love my kids, but realistically, I want to be single again, and
Or
I
I
don't
want
know.
to actually enjoy my life.
Yeah.
Well, and unfortunately, as someone who comes from a pagan background, oh, I know there's going to be hell. There now, the what may be the saving grace is he spelled it with a Y, not an I, and you'd be surprised how much difference that makes. But I can totally foresee boycotts, witchcotts, whatever the hell
Oh
you want
yeah.
to call them. I got to read this thing I got to read before I make any more commentary,
Okay. All right.
and then I'll go from there.
Okay. Well, we have a couple. I mean, there's a ton more information.
Rob Liefeld, thank you,
Oh,
thank you.
the parody
It's Rob
creator.
Liefeld is the one
Okay.
who copies everything.
Gotcha. Well, looks like we're already closing up on almost an hour. So before we get to our usual wrap up, there's a couple more things we want to touch real quick.
There's
And
one in particular.
One in particular
29?
is a new car that was announced. And why are we talking about a car?
Because
It's
Tesla
Tesla.
wants,
Tesla wants to give you the D.
and you're gonna want the D. Even if you've never wanted D in your life before, you're gonna want this D.
Yes.
This D I would happily take. Now that we've played Double Entendre Theater to death, what is
Yes.
the D?
The D
The D
is
stands for dual motor.
Yes. I cannot wait to see something like this on the road. It's a high-end all-wheel drive option of the Model S.
What makes it particularly cool are the specs of this thing.
Yes.
Because the new the D version 0 to 60 faster than a McLaren.
3.2 seconds.
Now it's barely faster than a McLaren, but it's faster than a McLaren.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting because the guy, the CEO of Tesla, he's like got a thing for McLaren. I mean, he's
really
obsessed
does.
with McLaren in a good way, but who needs 3.2 to 60? And an electric car, that's kind of impressive. But what's weird is they were I heard an interview with him on Black Dynamite. No, is it? He was saying in an interview that you'd think putting two motors in there that it would actually suck more power and be less efficient.
Mm-hmm.
But in fact, the opposite is true.
Right.
It takes less power to drive this thing. The batteries are much more efficient, therefore increasing the range significantly. Now, how significant is it? I don't know, because I mean the current range on them is like what, 300 miles?
Something about that. Maybe a little higher than that.
I mean, if they could get the range to like 400 or 500, that's practically doubling it. They're not going to get it that high, but wouldn't it be awesome?
True.
And look at that dash. Look at that dash.
Want so bad, considering that entire right screen is all touch.
Yeah, the entire screen is touch, and it comes with, well, all the Teslas have all current model Teslas have this hardware in it. Whether or not it's activated is another matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the autopilot system.
Yeah, that autopilot system is pretty incredible.
I mean, Google's had their self-driving car for a while. That's effectively what autopilot is.
Mm-hmm.
It will drive itself.
Now, this first part of this video, this is courtesy of TheVerge.com. So the first part of this course was just the 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, which was impressive. I like how the lights make it look almost like Rainbow Road from Mario Kart.
I was actually thinking of a Tron window, but okay,
that
I'll go
works
for
as
Rainbow
well.
Road.
Yeah. And then this other part, this autopilot
They're at
feature.
Moffett.
This thing is impressive. Without him touching anything, the sensors below are reading the lines of the street. The sensors above are actually reading street signs and will change the speed accordingly.
I'm going to call shenanigans on that one, by the way.
You think so?
You know why I think so?
Why do you think so?
I don't think it actually physically reads the street signs. I think what it does is it does what every GPS out does. There's a database of what speed zones or what area and where the speeds change.
True.
Now, if you could say set this to 25, okay, he pulled the thing and said 25 and it adjusted accordingly. Now, if somebody were to walk out there and drop, say, a 45 and then rerun that same thing and have it dynamically adjust, then I'll believe it could actually read the signs.
Okay, good point. I mean, this is all
and all that's a moot, but that's not a negative.
No, this is all heavily staged anyways. But that's fine because you're showcasing what this car can, feasibly do.
Yeah, exactly.
I do like the fact that there is one aspect that Elon Musk mentioned is that if you're on private property, say you owned a mansion, and you pull up to the front, the front with your car, your Tesla D. You can, after you set it up, of course, you can actually get out of your car, and the car will drive to your garage on private property and park itself for you.
Yes.
And you can call it back using an app.
And it will come back with the seat adjusted, the temperature set, and your favorite radio station playing.
Yeah, that's...
And just be waiting for you with the door open. It's like, really? That's
what?
Like, when does it come into Jeeves software? Yeah, where's its flux capacitor?
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, none of us are going to... Let me phrase that. None of us in our close circle of friends are going to be getting one of these, with the possible exception of Carl if he gets some really lucrative contracts. Because this car is still a $250,000 car.
Sure.
But, oh my God, this car is awesome.
And given the fact that Elon Musk wants to make electric cars out there more of a affordable reality for a lot of people. I mean, he's already gotten rid of all his patents on this stuff. There's actually a famous picture.
Really? He released his patents?
Yes, he did. So that other companies can use the patents to create more affordable vehicles. He himself, with Tesla, is going to be making a semi-affordable electric car in the very near future.
Define semi-affordable.
They're looking around the $35,000 range.
Okay, that's significantly more affordable.
That's what they're trying to aim for. I love the fact that if you go, I think, on one of their social media pages, Tesla actually has an image, before and after, of their wall of patents. And before it was just a massive wall of patents everywhere, and it looks very impressive. And then after Elon announced this, there's this painting from all your base belong to us, but instead it says all our patents are belong to you.
That's, you know what, I mean, okay, you don't, in modern society, modern companies, modern corporatocracy, if you will, you don't see shit like that.
No.
That's somebody, I mean, that's Kevin Flynn level stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and that a company is not only says they're willing to do it, but actually did it.
Musk is like a very unique individual. The fact that he has all these electric cars, he wants to further the industry, because let's face it, it also helps out his car company if there are more electric cars out there. If he has more competition stirs innovation, and we all get better quality cars in the end.
It also stirs acceptance.
Yes.
Because, I mean, if you get electric cars to a point where they're viable, to the point where you can get a receptacle at every, at the malls. I mean, there for a while there were some cars, like when there's the Chevy Volt, there were a couple other electric cars that came out, I want to say mid 90s when I was still in college, that were viable, that had these big clunky connectors. And there were like, four parking spots for them at various malls.
Right.
By giving away their patents, or by I doubt they gave them away, but they probably just made them effectively open source.
Probably.
But I'd have to look it up. But by doing that, if you can gain acceptance and get them to get the cost down to the 25 to 35 range, and boost the range on them, the driving range on them, yeah, that's a fantastic thing.
Oh yeah, and they're already trying to get out there in the public's mind as open as possible and as fast as possible. Case in point, I went to the local mall earlier today, and there's actually in the mall itself a I guess you can call it a Tesla store where they have a Tesla sitting
Which
there.
mall?
The Brea Mall.
Oh wow, in
Yeah,
Brea.
they have a
Okay.
they have a Tesla sitting there, and behind that they have an open chassis showcasing everything. I doubt it's been updated to showcase what was announced in terms of the D,
Right.
but and of course you can buy apparel and whatnot. But the fact that you can go to a mall and there's $100,000 electric car right there.
Yeah, and that's the thing is they're starting because like they've been up in the Bay Area forever,
Oh
but
yeah.
Tesla's in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla bought one
No,
of I was either Ford or Toyota's old assembly plants.
Tesla is they actually have a giant building in Southern California, by actually close to LAX by the what's that small airport right by LAX? I can't remember the name.
Oh, the one where the Air Force Base used to be?
Like Hawthorne or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, right there. They have one of the old hangars.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you drive down the 105, you look left, you just see Tesla on a giant.
Well, okay, that's a relatively new building then, but that's good. I mean, but you're seeing that in California is cool. You don't really expect it.
Exactly.
All right, let me rephrase that. You kind of have to expect that because California, along tech-wise anyway, has been one of the leaders in releasing the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I can go to Atlanta and see it, or to, I'm not going to say Raleigh because Raleigh's becoming Silicon East.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can go to like Idaho and see one of these, or other, that's when you'll know it's starting to be accepted.
Yes, exactly.
And I hope it goes there. I truly do. And maybe them making their patents available to everyone will do that.
Yeah, getting general acceptance for something like this, and not even more than acceptance, but like use, general use of this would definitely be a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
However, our last story, I don't know if it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. I'm not sure what to make of this.
There's a comedy club out in Barcelona that's doing a new way how to charge their patrons to go see comedians. Instead of us talking about it, check out this video.
Someone got me again. The what the fuck? The paper what the fuck?
Yes.
What's funny is that's real.
It's a legit thing. Like even the BBC covered this to make sure it was actually legit. Yes, this is a pay per laugh system. And
Wow.
I have to say, never thought I would see something like this.
It's amusing. It's definitely.
And I guess it kind of makes sense. There would be, of course, obviously there'd be people trying to figure out ways to bypass the system as much as possible, but especially if you try to make its way over here in the States.
Oh, yeah, no. But still, I mean, it.
If anything, it would get a good chunk of Americans to go to a comedy club just to check it out. And then
the curiosity factor alone.
Yeah. It's still impressive in that aspect.
It's thinking outside the box, for sure.
Yes.
And that's the big deal right there.
And like, you put, these kiosks in every desk. I'm like, oh, you put iPads in every single seat.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I wonder if this is like where things should actually start going towards. Like, instead of paying, up front, do you want to pay? Would you consider like a la carte or?
I don't know.
Because I can easily see now, if this takes off, comedians will no longer talk about how many tours they've done. They will actually rack up in real time how many laughs they've accrued over the years.
It'll become a competition.
It would be. You would see
achievement unlocked, 5 million laughs.
I mean,
achievement unlocked, Seinfeld.
I mean, there are ways now to
actually, will that how they do it? Will they measure it in Carlins and Seinfelds and rocks?
That would be impressive, actually. But I look at this and I'm going, there already are ways for people to support either shows or comedians or whatnot individually, like per show, kind of like what Patreon does, where you can set it up to pay like
I think Patreon's a smart
a
thing.
dollar or two an episode and whatnot. And I've seen shows who are really enjoyable. Their fans are willing to pay little bits per week, and they end up making like thousands a month easily.
Well, yeah, and that's one of the great. On that note, things like Patreon, which are really big, where I've been seeing a lot of Patreon use, is in the webcomics and web artists,
Yes.
which I think it's a fantastic creation, and it's long time coming, because there are a lot of online artists, webcomics, who need that kind of who can't do it full time despite their love of it, because they don't make that kind of money.
Exactly.
This allows them to do that. Now, could this be something? Could this be applied to something like this pay per laugh thing? Maybe.
We'll see.
I don't know.
If it ever makes its way stateside, it'd be very interesting how the media looks at it.
Yeah, totally. Though, speaking of paper what the fucks, in post-show, we've got a definite what the fuck for you all.
Yes, very much so.
And I've been trying to find... Well, we'll talk about it after credits.
Okay.
So from here, shall we talk about what we've been doing, what we've been watching lately, even though we know that at least one of them involves a Miku concert?
Yes. Besides that, Michael, what have you been watching?
Not a lot.
Well, that was a short segment. Thank you.
Well, no, here's why. They're getting ready to release the Warlords Draenor is looming upon us.
Yes, it is.
And I have 3 characters actively in the Legendary Cloak quest at various levels.
So I've
got another character who's getting ready to start it.
So free time for you is not really an option at these.
Well, there's that. Also, I've been working on helping Nikki wear the latest costume. So I just haven't had a lot of time. I started to watch. I'm a couple weeks behind on Sword Art Online.
Okay.
Though I have been loving it.
Okay.
And there are a couple other shows I want to see, but I haven't. I watched the first episode of Gotham and was unimpressed. I'm gonna give it a fair shot, but I just want Constantine to come out. Damn it!
October 24th.
Not soon enough.
I know it's not soon enough. In the meantime, catch up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, I saw the first episode. What the hell are they doing? Okay, what they're doing with Fitz.
Yeah.
Tripped me out.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
We'll see how that turns out.
I should have, but I didn't. But another one that what the hell is his name? Ward.
I'm
expecting him to turn around and go, "Hello, Clarice."
He needs to do that. He really needs to do that.
I'm just waiting on one of those moments to show up. It's.
I will say this: get to episode 3 of this season.
Okay.
And you'll be happy. You did.
Excuse me. God, I'm sorry for yawning so much, guys.
No worries. I do have to say the one thing that caught my eye that I actually did watch recently was the premiere of Star Wars Rebels.
Oh yeah, that's coming out. How is it?
It's no Clone Wars.
Really? That bad? Well, it's only up 1.
It's only up 1.
Has it been over Disneyfied?
In terms of the art style, you know how with
well, the art style looked very Clone Wars from what I can tell.
It looks very Clone Wars-ish, but the thing is, though, they muted so many of the textures that gave Clone Wars that special, aesthetic look that was so great. And when I look at Rebels, I'm seeing the same level of animation, but with such matted tones, it feels so much more childish than anything else.
It doesn't have the polish.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't have the same polish. It doesn't have even the same feel. Granted, it's only been 1 episode.
Is there?
Are
they streaming it on their site?
Not yet. It'll be, I think, on Disney XD fairly soon. Here's the thing, though. They are going to rebroadcast this on ABC very soon. And they added an extra...
As part of Saturday morning?
I'm not sure exactly when. I have to look it up. But the
Saturday morning cartoons haven't been good in decades.
actually, as of last Saturday, there is actually no more Saturday morning cartoons. We've
Wow.
gone to the era where there's no more Saturday morning cartoons.
Wow.
They're all gone. Even the anime stuff that the CW was showing on Saturday morning is gone. No more Saturday morning cartoons.
End of an era. End of a freaking era.
Yeah. But with Rebels, I know they're going to rebroadcast it on ABC, and they're added an extra segment. And the reason I'm only going to tune in because of this aspect, it includes Darth Vader, and they actually brought back James Earl Jones to voice the character.
Really? They actually got him to do it?
Mm-hmm. So I'll go watch it again on ABC, just for that scene. There's not much. I mean, I will still give it several more episodes in hopes that it starts gaining back to the momentum that Clone Wars had.
Yeah, well, Clone Wars took a little bit to take off.
True, it did.
So again, give it the fair shot test.
I'll give it a fair shot test. But initial impressions, after putting Clone Wars on such a high pedestal, this is nowhere near it. But again, you are putting something brand new against something who has 5-6 seasons under its belt, so.
Yeah, 5 seasons.
Yeah, so it is what it is.
Well, you saw what I posted for my reaction to it in the chat room.
Yes.
No more Saturday morning cartoons? What?
Such a great picture. But that's pretty much it for me. Before we wrap this up, Michael, you have anything else to add, or?
Yes, actually, one cool thing. Final Fantasy 13 is out on Steam now.
Yes.
We were talking about the pre-order before, and I got it. But it was available for download this week. It looks gorgeous. I mean, it's very pretty. If you've got a good video card, it's going to look fantastic. It supposedly maxes at 1080p. You were telling me that somebody figured out how to hack it to go higher than 1080p.
It was locked at 720p. And
it was locked at 720?
And someone hacked it to go 1080p, and then hacked it again to bump it all the way to 4K.
I don't need to go 4K, but I'll take 1920 by 1200. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So
you will have to hack it to even get to at least 1080. So.
Well, I'll have to go digging for that. Mm-hmm. But what I'm really happy about with it is something that I wish they'd have done on the damn console, because it actually makes the game a bit more playable, believe it or not. You can actually run it with the Japanese language and English subtitles. It's about damn time.
Yes, very much so.
That's something that, I mean, if they ever release 10 or 10.2 on PC, I hope they do it there too. Because
they did have the HD remaster recently for the PS3, so it wouldn't be too far of a stretch.
HD remaster doesn't give you a Japanese option. I bought it. You're still stuck with English.
Fail.
So if they believe me, if they let me play 10, the HD remaster in Japanese, I would have more to talk about because I'd be playing my PS3.
Good point. All right.
So yeah, definitely. Whether or not it's going to make the game more playable overall, time will tell. But it actually does make it a little more tolerable, because one of the things that I really hated was this, and it's not the fault of the voice actress, it's the fault of the translator in my mind. The way Lightning talks and the way no, you would not know the difference if Japanese voice acting was bad unless you understood the language perfectly, which I don't. But I understand it moderately. Well, kind of. But it flows better. Because it's the original. I mean, the problem with the English voice actress wasn't the performance job of the actor. They were fine.
Right.
It was just the way, it doesn't help a bad translated script.
Yeah, true.
That's just my opinion.
And on that odd opinion, no, I'm just kidding.
Bite me.
All right, guys.
You need to show that hamster now.
Yeah, I need to. All right, everybody. So much fun. Thank you so much for hanging out. Stay tuned for post-show, and you can catch us on most Sundays at 7 p.m. From my mother's basement. I'm Jason.
And I am Michael.
And we will see you guys next week. Take it easy, everybody.
Bye, guys.